welcome to Inner Alchemy. Today we are going over a very powerful aspect of what alchemy is, and it's the power of belief and the power of thought. And so often we just spend our days ruminating in the same narrative that we have the day before and the week before and the month before and the year before and a lifetime before, without even really truly connecting in with why we are the way we are and why we think the way we think. So often we are just so busy going with the day-to-day motions, the day-to-day doing, going, moving, that we step away from ourselves a little bit. So in general, alchemy is the process of turning base metal into gold. And in spiritual alchemy, in this inner alchemy transformation of the self, we take the restrictive emotions, the limiting beliefs, the lower vibrational energies, everything that we perceive as dense and restrictive, we take that and use it as a catalyst for change. It's transmuting what we label as darkness or lower and turning it into this expansive energy that elevates us. And it's a huge energetic process of growth and transformation. A huge aspect of this is our beliefs, and we can realize that our limiting beliefs, our triggers, all the things in the world that cause us angst and pain and suffering are truly our greatest teachers and catalysts for change. We can change our entire reality and shape it to whatever we want it to be. So as we go through this inner alchemy, we grow, we expand, we connect deeper with the divine, and really come back to the truth of who we are. So today we're definitely going into belief work. It's something that is at the basis of who we are. It is the depth of our creation. It's the foundation of our reality. And no more do we need to be overlooking it. We actually need to tap in and see the true essence and aspect of this huge, powerful tool that can change our lives. And that's the issue. It's so simple, it seems so woo-woo, it seems so out there, so we overlook it, when in reality it is at the crux of who we are. So let's get going on this. So what is the process of belief and alchemy in general? How do they interconnect? How do they relate? And it is the whole aspect of using your belief as the catalyst for change. Belief as a catalyst of change is one of the biggest things that truly impacts your reality and will shift it. So rather than looking at your triggers, what pisses you off, a job that's just, you feel worthless or like you're not doing enough, maybe you're a parent and you feel like nothing ever goes your way or life doesn't go your way, rather than playing the victim of your own story, you take accountability and realize that I am the creator always, and I have the power to shift anything at any given point in my life. And once you step out of that victimhood, once you start identifying your limiting beliefs, it is a huge catalyst for change and transformation. And that is when things expand, they open, doors open, reality flips, and this level of deeper awareness and a higher sense of consciousness starts to come through you. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. And much like other self-reflection processes, it's to support your evolution, not as a human being, but that's almost like second nature to the evolution of your soul. We are so much bigger than the physical body that we see. Our soul actually encapsulates the entire body. It's expansive. It's 99.9% of who we are is energy. We can't see it. The physical body is only 0.1%. So 0.01%. So in that case, the belief is a conscious aspect that shapes everything. And the transformation of your belief will allow you to fine-tune who you are, connect deeper with the world around you, connect deeper with the relationships around you, and open up so many new opportunities and doors that weren't there before. And it's one of those things that you kind of have to see to believe. But if you start doing these practices we're going to talk about today, for sure everything will start to shift for you. Another thing about the beliefs is it gives you that direct connection with your higher power, the divine, the guidance in your life, the angels, the energy, all of these things that are always there supporting and guiding you on your journey comes into play and intermingles, and you have the opportunity to access these spiritual insights that just build this deeper connection of why you are here. Because when you really think about it, why are we on Earth? Why are we on this rock spin in the sky? Like, it doesn't really make sense, but we're so busy that we don't ever really think about it. But when we work with our beliefs, when we bring more mindfulness into our lives, we can have time to contemplate these bigger picture ideas. And that's when the connections with true divine energy come through. And I was one of those people who was hustling, bustling, working the 95 job. I mean, it's basically 9 to 5, 95 hours of my life a week. Once I started to create space in my life, space between the thoughts, these elated emotions started to come through. Once I started to channel and connect and talk to the divine by shifting my beliefs, more joy, more happiness, more love, more space, more ease, more guidance across the board. And that's why I'm such a big proponent for this type of work. It shapes your mindset and allows you to tap into these high levels of manifestation where your dreams become your reality. And it's so simple, but just because it's simple doesn't make it real. Doesn't make it not real, I should say, but just because it's simple doesn't make it easy either. It's one of the first things to drop because we believe that other things are more important than ourselves. We believe that doing all of the things, the work, job, kids, friends, family, holidays, all the million things on the to-do list needs to come before our own inner wisdom and taking care of ourselves. But when we get our beliefs in line, your whole world morphs into that. So let's get into that right now. Our beliefs are this starting point to drive us, the driving force behind our mission of this inner alchemy process of exploration, transformation, of growth, walking down the path to more truth, more wisdom, a deeper sense of joy and happiness and knowing in yourself and the world around you. And beliefs are something that shape our reality, like we already discussed before, but they are science-backed. And where do they come from, right? It's an energy. A belief is an energy. I always like to see them as little waves. Whenever I'm thinking something, it's waves going out into the world around you, and those waves get reflected back by the universe. It's all a frequency. Just because we can't see it with our mind doesn't mean it's not there. But a belief is formed by neural pathways in the brain, and if we believe something or think something over and over again, the neural pathways get stronger. So it's kind of this intertwining where you're constantly thinking a certain way that your brain starts to adapt to that thinking. And when it adapts to that thinking, an emotional response starts to tie into it as well. So we are in this process of you think, then you feel, then you feel, then you think, you feel, you feel, you think, and they're reflecting off of each other. And the more that process happens, the stronger the neural pathway gets, and it's the synapses in the brain that fire. So you all heard what fires together, wires together. So it's the same energetic idea that the thought is now tied to the emotion, which makes it stronger. And that's why in belief work, it's so important to get yourself into a high emotional state, which we'll get into a little bit later. But right now, it's the process that we're going to focus on how what fires together wires together. So say you believe you're not enough. And because you believe you're not enough, you feel you're not enough. So you believe you're not enough, and you feel you're not enough, and you feel and think and feel. You feel you're not enough, you believe you're not enough, you believe you're not enough, you feel you're not enough. It becomes who you are. It becomes your state of being because the emotion and the thought are wiring together, and now you have hardwired it into your brain, into your neural network, and now your subconscious is saying, that's my reality. So in that fact, the frequency, remember the waves, think of them shooting out of you. Now that I actually say it out loud, I'm like, but You get what I mean. The universe, that frequency that you are always radiating at, because your molecules, your atoms, your protons, your electrons, that frequency is radiating out of you, and now the world around you, right, is reflecting that back. And that's what we mean when we say everyone's a mirror of you, because the universe is reflecting back to you the traumas that you're living from, the beliefs that you've created, and who you are physically, not what you want. It's your state of being. It's the energy that you radiate out. And that's why it's always like a big joke, which is a whole nother episode of being like, we're all one, blah, 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 blah. You hear it all the time, but it's true. We're all one person because we all stem from the same consciousness, the energy that we can't see. We're not going to go on that today. That will be for another time. But this emotional response of thinking and feeling and thinking, it links together. And that state of being becomes your personality. And then your personality, Joe Dispenza always says this, your personality becomes your personal reality. So if you show up the same person you were yesterday, how can you expect a different result in your personal reality around you? The beliefs and emotions have to change. And because they have to change, you have to do the work to process, to be first and foremost, become aware of them, change them, and process any energies that are tied to them that are being stuck in the physical body and all of those things. Now, that's the kind of the background of where the beliefs stem from, the consciousness itself. It's like think of yourself as a channel, stream of consciousness comes through. But 95% of our beliefs form from the ages 0 to 7. So if you're not doing the work, like that we're going to go over today even in more detail, all your reactions, your choices, why you do the things you do, why you like particular things, actually stemmed from 0 to 7. So you need to look back at those energies, those root causes. What happened when you were young is super impactful to now. And then every situation leading up to there, even like 0, 7, 95%, but in the teen years, 20s will all reflect the beliefs you have about yourself, and they'll keep heightening them if you don't start to bring this awareness process into your mind's eye. So we have the universal laws, which everybody generally knows. It's the law of attraction, right? And people understand like the vision boards and writing things out and all of that good stuff, but it's only half of the process. The deepest law of the universe is, as you believe, so it shall be. So truly, your beliefs that you have and the energy that you hold and the frequency that you radiate is what's going to attract to you. Because that vibration, you might hear vibration a lot and maybe it doesn't make sense, but when you think of it yourself as the cells, as the atoms, as the electrons that are always moving, they move at a certain speed. We just can't see it. So you're vibrating all the time. And when we release lower vibrational, not even lower vibrational, I don't like that term because it's not true, but restricted energies that slow down the speed, you feel heavier. But when you release those energies and you expand the heart and you start to shift the beliefs, the speed of the belief is higher and you feel more expansive. So from this point, you truly are what you believe in the frequency that you radiate at. Your personality is your personal reality. So tying into the energy that really houses in your heart and that you really live from, and bringing awareness to that is going to be one of your biggest tools. So looking back at where do these beliefs come from? Most of them aren't yours. I'm going to start by saying that. They come from your parents, they come from your friends, they come from your teachers, they come from your family, they come from media, TV, news, your computer screen. Some of them are ancestral, that are passed down through your lineage, because you got to think, you yourself were in your grandmother, right? The eggs all through the ancestral line. So wherever your mom was when she was giving birth to you, her emotional state, those beliefs get transferred into you as well. Because remember, it's energy. And then growing up with that from your parents, what was that like? From your caretakers, what was that like? Do they say money doesn't grow on trees? Do they think they're not enough? Do they think life is hard? If so, generally speaking, those beliefs are going to subconsciously be yours. And you don't know it because it's just what you know, right? It's what you believe life to be. It's the idea that your love is what your caretakers gave you, the same definition of love. And the only time I started to really have a grand scope, and I understand it deeply now, of love is when I started having these spiritual experiences, these Kundalini awakenings, these activations of the expansion of the universe. I didn't know how much love there actually was because my definition was limited to what I saw my grandparents be like, my parents be like. And then I have my relationship with my partner, and that opened it up even more, but still, it doesn't come from someone outside of you. The love of the universe, the self-love of yourself is the biggest expansion that you can find. So even your beliefs around love are skewed. So the practice is going back and realizing why you are the way you are. The amount of brainwashing that is done, right, through media, TV alone, subconsciously, it's in the shows, it's in the programs, it's everywhere. We have to do these practices daily because you just spent the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years being programmed into something that's not yours. So when we go over these, I want you to really start to think about, where is this showing up for you? Why is it showing up for you? You know? And how can you change the belief? By stepping out of being the victim and being like, I am the creator and I'm going to create my life from this point on, and bring that expansive energy up with you. We're going to go into the practical alchemy of all of this. But before we do so, I'm just going to give you an example or two of how I've seen this show up in my life. And I'm so passionate about this because I've lived it, I've experienced it, I see how it works. I see how much my life has changed in more abundance, more love, more happiness, more joy, like more zest and like excitement, excitement for life. It's true, and it takes going through heaviness. You have to go through the heaviness, you have to purge the trauma, you have to feel. And I've done plant medicine ceremonies and darkness retreats and breath works where I'm feeling the of it all, right? The crawling out of your skin. I was in an ayahuasca ceremony for 12 hours where I wanted to die. I just wanted to die. Death would have been a very better option than where I was. And even that was reflecting some belief work from when I was younger. But even beliefs that I've been working on the past couple of months of I'm not supported. And this is a big theme that comes from past life patterns as well, but it shows up in this life too. So this idea of like I'm not supported and working that, and it's not safe to be seen and it's not safe to be heard. Because especially from past life patterns of death, of being a figure of power and making miscreations. But in this life, when I was younger, it wasn't safe to speak up. I lived in a tumultuous household. I was with my grandparents a lot, and you don't talk, right? It's not, emotions aren't safe, so you just hold it in. If you speak out, you might get in trouble, you might get yelled at. It was like an up and down. So I learned at a very young age, it's easier to go under the radar. It's safer to go under the radar. When you go under the radar, no one can hurt you, and you can't hurt anyone else. And once I identified this belief, was processing through all of that emotion for it, clearing it, and I started to change the patterning in my own mind, openness. More people come to my classes, more people ask to work with me one-on-one, more people reach out to me. I am more comfortable speaking in front of the camera, speaking in front of big groups, my whole reality changed. I have another example that can go with that as well. It's like one of the biggest ones that I was like, holy shit, because it was so tangible in action. I spilled freaking iodine down my entire like curved staircase, and I just built this house with my partner. The staircase is his, like, that was his thing. His pride and joy, he loved it. And little did I know, somehow, I didn't even know I did it. He found it. I live in La La Land sometimes. Iodine, it runs deep, it's dark, you can't get it out. I spilled it down the whole staircase. And he went up. Again, I didn't even know that existed. Like, I didn't know what happened. But all I hear is Lauren. And I went over and I was like, holy fucking shit, this is a lot. And he got so mad. And we don't generally fight because you communicate. It's super important to communicate. But he got so mad and he went silent. And here I am, I'm like, he needs to work on his shit. He's being triggered. I'm not triggered. Yada, yada, yada. Like, this is his shit. The whole day I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm going to get some stuff to try to clean it up. I think I ruined the stairs more. I put like ammonia on it. All of the shit. Nothing worked. I like burned holes in the stairs. That's besides the point. By the end of the day, he's still not talking to me. Like, silence. End of the day, I'm still like, it's his shit. Comes back from work and just goes upstairs and like goes to bed. And in that moment, I just started breaking down and crying. And it was never him, it was me, right? Because I'm the creator of my own reality. So where did I go from here? It wasn't how he was treating me, it was I leaned into the emotion. And that's how I felt when I was younger. When I was younger, if you got in trouble, you just got sent to your room. No one talked to you. No one said it was okay. It was just silence. We didn't talk about it. It was in my room alone. I felt unsafe to be around someone. I felt unsafe to be seen. All of these things. I felt not supported because no one was there when I felt horrible. And I had this huge inner child healing of the belief behind that. I'm not safe. It's not safe to be around people. I'm safe alone only. And I cleared and processed through all of this emotion, identified the belief, and it was this huge opening. And my reality shifted in that moment. And I went to bed and I woke up the next day, and right when I wake up, he turned to me and he goes, I will never do that to you again. We didn't speak anything, he just woke up and he said, I will never do that to you again. I will never not be there for you. I will never not speak to you. I will always be there to support you. You are safe. Literally, the words coming out of his mouth to mine when we didn't even discuss anything yet. And from that moment on, he showed up in a supportive and more open way from that point on. Because it was never him. I had the wall up. Even to the person closest to me, I still had that wall of, it's not safe, right? I'm not safe. And once I let the wall go down, it's like a volcano erupted of goodness, of love, like this support that I've never felt before. It was amazing. And this is the power of this type of work. It's so tangible. So let's get into the practices, the actual practical applications for you guys to take and kind of and use, because you need to be showing up daily. Like I said, you've been brainwashed your whole life. And you cannot convince me otherwise. You can't watch a movie without it going into your subconscious. You can't even like fight against the movie. If you're truly watching and not talking to anyone, if you're just watching, you can't logically make an argument in your head. It's wild. Try it. Just try it. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this is harder than I thought. But the first key is self-awareness, the practice of self-awareness. And this comes from mindfulness, it comes from meditation, it comes from sitting with yourself and creating space between the thoughts. And I know you're already saying, I can't meditate. Like, if I had a nickel, my grandfather was saying, if I had a nickel for all the time someone told me that, I'd be a wealthy woman. You're already wealthy. You got love, life, happiness, richness. Life is full of abundance every day. That's a belief, right? Him saying that is a belief that I took on that I had to rewire. But see, this is the practical application in real life that I'm doing in front of the camera right now for myself. That's what it takes because you've been brainwashed your entire life. So the meditation, the mindfulness allows you to tune into you. Yeah, and all your thoughts are going to come up. You're going to be here, your to-do list. You're going to be like, oh, I don't want to feel that emotion, this, that, the third. That's part of the practice. Eventually, space gets bigger. So maybe you have 1,000 thoughts in a meditation session. You practice more, show up to your mat every day, or your seat or your bed, and you can be laying down, you can be sitting up, be comfortable. Over time, the thoughts get less and less, and the space between the thoughts get bigger and bigger. And over time, you have these beautiful expansions, and you're like, oh, no thought just came up? Wow. But it takes practice, it takes showing up every day. So doing the meditations to build this self-awareness, to realize the narrative that's playing in your head. Journaling is also another huge takeaway that you can do. Just journal your thoughts. Put pen to paper and allow the hand to go. If something pisses you off that day, go write about it. How does it feel in your body? Where do you feel it? What's the belief behind it? Start tuning in and bringing awareness to all of these things. It's showing up daily for it. And then recognizing your triggers. I think this is the most potent and powerful way to freedom. Realizing that people who trigger you are your biggest teacher in your path to freedom. And realizing when you're pointing a finger at someone, you got 3 pointing back at you, because it's the universe reflecting back. That person in front of you is reflecting to you a limiting belief that you have about yourself, or it's like this is something you have to learn to tune into. It's either they're bringing up your shit because it's a limiting belief and you need to clear it out, or they're bringing up your shit and they have something that you need to embody more. So maybe your friend is like selfish and you think they're selfish and self-centered and things like that, but maybe you let people walk all over you. So that mirror image is, hey, you need to set boundaries more. And then it's two-tiered, because in that same situation, they feel selfish, and then you feel the belief behind it is, oh, I don't matter. So not only do you need to set boundaries, you need to now work with the belief of, I don't matter. Where did that come from? Journal about it. What created it? And when you're in these expansive states, whether journaling or in these meditative states, there's a whole shadow or process to go through that we won't go into detail today, but I'll be making stuff about that as well. You gotta feel the energy in your body. What is the emotion? If you don't feel enough, where do you feel it? Can you visualize the first time you've ever felt that way? Were you a baby? Were you 3? Were you 12? Etc. And go into that energy, because you have to feel in order to process through and let it go. So using your triggers as your path to freedom. So when you get triggered, you need to right there, right then be like, what am I learning here? What is the universe trying to tell me? Is it a belief I have? Is it something I need to embody more? From here, you question all of your assumptions in life. Why you think a particular way, why you are the way you are. Just start to question and contemplate and be more explorative in yourself. Create the space for you. Slow things down. And taking action. Really starting to switch the script. So every time, you might have a limiting belief come up all day, every day. I know people have narratives of that. I suck, I'm a piece of shit, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. It's the practice. Like I said, you gotta show up every day. You spend your whole lifetime being brainwashed. That thought comes in, you need to be like, I'm enough. A thought comes in that says, I'm not supported. You need to be like, I am supported, guidance is all around me. I feel the energy and love of my angels, my guides, my family, my friends all around you. You have to start actively going against your own narrative. This process is be, know, do. It goes beyond just thinking about it. Not only do you have to become, you be the energy, then you have to know its truth within, rewire the beliefs. Then you have to take action. If you don't feel supported, you need to go out and do things that make you feel supported. If you don't feel it's safe to speak your truth, you have to start having those uncomfortable conversations, even when you want to cringe up, like that cringy feeling you got to go into to prove to your subconscious that it's safe. From here, you need to process through the energy that's tied to the belief. Because remember in the beginning, we said belief links with emotion and it creates a state of being. So this I am not worthy or I am not loved, however many times that belief has come through in your life, thousands and thousands of times, the universe reflecting it back to you, the energy stores in your body, it stores in your energy field, and it's what slows down the vibration. So through practices like breath work, shadow work, yoga, emotional intelligence, building this inner alchemy, you process through these energies and traumas in order for new beliefs in space to be created. So finding a breath work, working one-on-one with someone, reaching out to an energy healer, reaching out to a therapist. Therapy is really great. Talk therapy, I go back and forth with. Like, I think it's really, really great for people to talk, but you need to be doing the embodiment practices as well. You need to be feeling into why you feel the way you are for it to flow through. Otherwise, you'll talk for 20 years and you'll never get anywhere. But even like the plant medicines, all of these things are different modalities to process through energies, restrictive emotions, traumas, and make more space in your consciousness for expansive beliefs to start to be formed. From here, again, replacing and doing the negative thought talk, switching and reframing everything, and then you start to manifest. We first clear the channel, and clearing the channel comes from doing all of that work emotionally, but also eating healthier, drinking clean water. All of these things purge the body of toxins and energy that create more space for your consciousness to rise. Then, I think I just said this, but then we start to manifest. So, manifesting from here is, you gotta kind of have some goals and an action plan. It's one thing to be like, you clear your channel, you're feeling good, you're like, ooh, I got this. And then being like, I'm gonna live in a $50 million house on the island, my own private island, but you still work at a minimum wage job that restricts all your time. You have nowhere of how you're gonna get X, Y, to Z. So it's creating some goals and a clear path. Are you going to invest your money in Bitcoin and watch it explode? Are you going to start doing side projects? Are you gonna work for your house, yourself? Are you going to quit your minimum wage job and do something else? So first setting out some like possibilities of how can I get from A to B, okay? Then we can visualize and manifest and open your energy to all of the possibilities. So you have your channel cleared, you have a clear path of where you want to go, where you're trying out new things. You're seeking support from people, one-on-ones, you are doing the work, opening up, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready to manifest. In this case, this is a practice, and this is a practice that you need to show up to every day. Every day when I wake up, I visualize my life. I pull up the emotions of gratitude, joy, love, and I feel that in my body, and I visualize, because that's what I would feel in those times of me living my most expansive life. And then I get up and I live from that energy. So in your visualizations, you write it down, your affirmations, you write it down, you get clear on what you want. I am, in the present tense, you have to write out your affirmations and your dream life. So I am living in a $50 million house on a private island. I am abundant. I am healthy. I am wealthy. Every day I am excited. I love what I do. I am passionate about what I do. I'm so grateful for the intuition that I have and my gifts that I have. They help people. They help the world around me. I am so excited to see my partner and my family and my friends. Every day is a blessing and a gift. So you write your affirmations in this positive this positive present tense. And then on top of that, you, in detail, to the color of the paint in your dream house, write out what your life looks like. You have to be clear. So often we're like, we say we want these things, but we're not actually clear on if that's what we really want. We kind of are wishy-washy with it. So you need to really focus on, what do you want? You need to decide that. And it's not and realize, is it what you want is because someone else wants you to have it and because you're trying to prove yourself, or is it truly what you want? And from this space, you open up and you expand into a higher level of energy. And you know that it's okay for all your timelines to come together, because you might want one thing, but you're like, oh, how are these all going to happen at the same time? You ask, you say, and all of these timelines come together as one and manifest in my life. So you write that up, and then on a daily basis, when you wake up, you visualize it. You spend 10 minutes in your bed before you even open your eyes, and you visualize your dream life. You feel it. It is so real to you, no one could tell you it's not. You pull up through that alone love. You pull up through that alone joy. You pull up through that alone happiness. And maybe you have to tie into some past experiences to feel that joy, but you expand it into your heart and you visualize from here. And it's in this space you now bring in your positive affirmations of I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am rich in relationships, I am rich in self-love. Every day is a beautiful day and I am excited. You spend time calling up this energy and emotions for the expansiveness in your heart. And once you bring that energy up, right, you're radiating in this expanded emotion. That frequency radiates out of you, and then the universe reflects it back. So you're literally pulling a new reality to you, and you're changing your personality. Because yesterday you woke up and you're like, same shit, different day, yada, yada, yada. The same shit kept happening. But today you woke up and you're like, I'm excited for life. I feel it in my heart. And when you get up from your bed, you live and take action on that reality pulls to you. You get up and you have to live from the person you want to be. What would they do? What would they say? How would they act? If you want more wealth, would they tip extra to when you go get your tea in the morning? You live with that expanded heart. And that is the key. It's bringing all senses into it and taking action. It's not just making your vision board and being like, this is going to happen. It's clearing the channels, taking action, being the person you want to be now. Because that reality is not outside of yourself. It's already here. And being grateful and gratitude for everything you already have. And those are the huge, applicable, practical steps you can take. And then just bringing patience into it. Because it's not going to happen tomorrow. Some things might. Some things can instantly manifest that quick, and we're getting to a place where it's happening quicker. But remember, your belief was just reaffirmed for the past 20 years of your life. It's going to take some time to switch it and pull that reality to you. So you show up every day knowing that it's going to come. And that's when people stop, right? They don't see instantaneous results and they're like, oh, this shit doesn't work. I promise you it does, but you have to show up. So be patient and persistent with it. And then the final step for this would be to celebrate your successes, to celebrate your progress, to find gratitude for all that you already have. I find myself doing this all the time. Like, I'll do this big thing, all excited, and I'm like, okay, what's next, right? Sometimes I don't slow down and be like, oh, this was amazing. Look what I have. It's so beautiful and expansive. Really focusing on your glimmers and recognizing the joy of like having clean water and drinking it and good food and laughing with friends and having fun. Celebrate every moment of your life, because when you celebrate more to celebrate will come to you. You taking all of this practical application and applying it into your life, I promise you, things will shift very quickly. Thank you so much for listening and showing up and really taking this time to bring awareness to your beliefs. My challenge to you is now to go out and live it. We love collecting information and just consuming, but can you take the time and now take action and do? And with that being said, there's going to be, I'm going to link in the notes, a free practice for manifestation, for acknowledging beliefs that you can try out, and there'll be a little attachment of a PDF as well that just lists out a process that you should do a couple times a month, as well as those daily visualizations. So I thank you all so much. This is the first launch of this Inner Alchemy session. I don't know if it's a podcast or just a video. I have no idea yet. We'll freaking see where it goes. Tell me what you think. Share your stories of how you shifting your beliefs has changed your life. I'd love to hear them, and see you next time. Peace.